and welcome back to Sideline Inside Football Podcast, where we'll talk everything football related. And today we'll be diving into the latest news update that you might have missed in the past week. So today we'll be talking about a lot of things from the UEFA Nations League to the Nigeria versus Russia friendly game to transfer news. A lot of movements and transfer rumors that we'll be diving into and just talking about, because the transfer window is open just because of the Club World Cup that'll be coming up. I think it's starting 16th of June.
15th.
Okay, 15th of June. Yeah. So
July.
to July. So that is why the transfer window is open. I think it will close back then, open later. So this we'll be talking about a lot of things today. So where should we start from? I think we should start with transfer news.
Yes.
After the transfer news, I will not give our opinions about the Nations League. This the final between Portugal and Spain that will be going down tomorrow. So let's get into it. So welcome back. My name is Peace.
This is
Ferromi. Yeah, and today we'll be talking about, just like we said earlier, talking about transfer rumors, and then we'll talk about the Nations League final that will be going on tomorrow. So today, let's start with Arsenal. Arsenal, apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, are in advanced talks to sign Benjamin Sesko. I think they said, according to the tweet that he put out there, they actually had talks with his camp sometime last week, and now I think the deal is starting to advance, but there's no agreement yet. Nothing, no, just there. But like, he's just teasing us. You know how Fabrizio Romano can get in, because when you know that. He knows that he knows how desperate Arsenal fans are to get a striker in, and I think we can all agree here today that I think Benjamin Sesko is likely going to be an Arsenal player than Benjamin Sesko, than Victor Gyökeres, because Victor Gyökeres is apparently probably going to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Maybe
that could also happen.
That could also happen.
Rumors.
But yeah, because I don't know why. Why is it that like most teams are actually going to to sign then like going in to sign Victor Gyökeres, because the amount of the insane stats he had last season, 40 plus goals, think like 20 plus assists as well. Why is it like likes of Barcelona, obviously we need a striker now.
Yeah, but Lewandowski is there for almost
season. So okay, but you can bring in somebody, because what if he gets injured? What if Lewandowski gets injured? Or maybe because people have Yamal and everything like that.
And Torres,
maybe. Well, I think I will talk about that later. And then the rumors of Rodrigo and Kepa. And this is actually like a divide when it comes to like the Kepa situation. It's like kind of like a divided situation, because Arsenal and Chelsea now, when it comes to like signing Chelsea rejects, like we all get. But for me, I think it actually makes sense. Actually add a good spell as a backup keeper. Obviously, David Rice is the number one, and he's going to be wearing the number one shirt next season as well. And Kepa, had a good spell at Bournemouth as well.
Yeah.
He actually had a very,
great, it was actually very
good. I think he had like 8 clean sheets.
Yeah, it was actually
although
small issues here and there, but
that's why he's the backup.
That's the main thing.
He's the backup. I think Arsenal were linked at one point to the Espanyol goalkeeper, but now I think it's Garcia. I think now it's looking more like it's going to Barcelona. So I think the Kepa deal makes sense, but I kind of get Arsenal fans also getting tired of getting rejects from Chelsea. I was actually hoping and praying as an Arsenal fan that will not be linked to a certain Nkunku, because the rumors were kind of starting to come up. They were viewing at the time like, okay, I don't want Nkunku because we just got rid of Sterling, and then Sterling. Not really. I don't think it's as bad as Sterling, but he's like
what Arsenal
actually what Arsenal wants right now. And the big news for Arsenal is that Gabriel just signed a new deal. And what do you think about that? I think it's actually a phenomenal business for them, because I feel like it's been probably the most important player in the defense this season.
Yes.
You can say that Kirill stepped up,
in his absence.
But at the same time, you can just look at the way how important he's been offensively, not just
Yeah, with
defensively
his
as well.
goals.
You know, it goes to that point where anytime there's a time to score a goal, the
Gabriel will be
cameraman
there.
goes, usually set pieces, the cameraman goes to Gabriel
Yeah,
because he's always, it's probably going to, if he's not going to score, at least let me say 7 out of 10 times,
yeah, he's most
probably
likely going to
probably going
test the
to,
keeper.
yeah, test the keeper and score. So I think so. The I signed a new deal yesterday. It
Mm-hmm.
was announced yesterday, and it's going to run until 2029. And to just give a little talk about the Gabriel situation, because he was one of the first players that Mikel Arteta actually signed,
Yeah,
and like to see how he's improved yearly, because when he first got in, he was prone to making mistakes. He
mm-hmm.
was raw,
And
and
everything
and everything like that. But now he's improving every season. He's looking like the better one.
between him and
Between him and
Saliba.
the pairing now, he's looking like the more experienced. Actually, he's more experienced now.
Yeah,
He's more experienced than
Saliba
Saliba. But I feel like he's actually a great business, because the likes of Saudi Pro League are already, like,
will be there.
they're already there lingering around to see if something can happen.
To
I
bring
don't
him in.
want to give anything to Real Madrid as well, or even Barcelona,
Yeah,
because
waiting for the
waiting
last
for
ending of the
end of
contract.
the contract, like, the way what, like something similar that happened with
Trent.
Trent Alexander
Yeah,
Arnold. So I think that's a great business
yeah,
for Arsenal. Now let's go to the camp of Manchester United. Mbemo to Man United is looking like something that's going to
mm.
happen. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, I actually think Mbeumo to Manchester United, you could possibly say it's sort of a good deal.
Mm,
But yes, we saw the season he had, especially because of the season he had last season. We saw the
mm-hmm.
goals and the assists and everything.
20
But
goals
yeah,
in Premier
20, yeah,
League.
20 goals,
That's
20
actually
goals.
something.
And he also had the highest expected assist in the league, although
Yeah.
he wasn't the highest assister. But you
Mm-hmm.
clearly know that he can create chances and he can also score.
Mm.
But if you look at Manchester United side, will you say creating chances is their issue? I generally don't think creating chances is their issue. And then if you now also look at the underlying numbers of Mbeumo, the
Mm.
XG and everything, you could probably say he overperformed his XG, and this may not happen
Mm.
another time next year.
Mm.
So yes, I feel he is sort of a situation to Manchester United issue, but it's not also the biggest solution to their consistent problem right now. Because I feel Mbeumo, this is the first time he has ever scored 20 goals in his career.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he was also in charge of playing penalties with Ivan Toney left now. So if you like say he
Mm.
comes to Manchester United, Bruno is most likely not going to relinquish
Of
penalties from
course, he's the
Mbeumo.
captain as well.
Exactly. So all this type of thing, you look at it, you probably say, okay, maybe he doesn't hit those heights again. But if you get someone
Mm.
that is going to consistently give you 9 goals, 10 goals, I feel it also sort of solve the Manchester United issue. But the Manchester United issue is going
Mm.
to be the number 9 position. And they actually
Yeah.
have to bring in somebody there, because you cannot say, okay, we are going to rely
Joshua
on
Zexi and Oiland.
Holland and not his. They cannot say we are going to rely on Mbeumo. Okay, let's say Mbeumo gives you 9 goals,
Mm-hmm.
Kuhan gives
Konya,
you
yeah.
7 goals. And you cannot possibly do anything, let's say charge for a title or do
Mm,
anything with those
mm.
type of numbers. So yes, I feel he solves an issue, but it's not also the solution for the biggest Manchester United issue right now.
Okay, okay, I get that, but I think for me, this Mbemo deal, I think it's probably the wages as well. I think as kind
Yeah,
of,
the price too.
it's
So I
the
feel it's
price
pricey too.
tag, yeah. And at the end of the day, I think this kind of just puts to bed like the belief or the nonsense that you have to like have Europe or European football to
Yeah,
attract the players. You get it at the end of the day. I think this Man U are kind of
a
getting these
big club.
players. They're a big club,
Yeah,
but I think because they are willing to spend
a
and
whole lot.
settle these players with the amount of wages that they want, it's something that is actually helping them as well,
Yeah.
because they don't really have the negotiation power now, because they are
So
kind of
oh,
the one.
I can say, oh, I want to go to Newcastle now. Then you
Yeah,
say, okay, you want to go to Newcastle? Yeah, I will give you higher wages to
higher
come here.
wages,
So
yeah. So I think it's about the money,
yeah,
and since Manchester United they are ready to pay that money and pay that price, I think that's the price you pay for not making it to Europe.
yes,
Because
exactly.
if they had made it to Europe, they will have like
He'll
the
probably
power.
want to show, say, okay, I want to be in Manchester United to show to Europe that, oh, I can actually play football at this
Yeah,
particular level. So yes, I feel is a good thing and also a bad thing. It shows that
yeah.
Manchester United is still a big club and will always
Mm,
pay those big wages. But
wages,
it also shows that where United are now, they don't really have, like you said, they don't really have the
a
bargaining
choice,
power.
yeah,
They say,
the
oh, okay,
power.
will you come for this amount because we are going to give you this and that, the
Mm-hmm.
European football
Yeah.
consistency. That's one thing you cannot be sure Manchester United giving you. So yes, it has pros and cons, but Nguemo, Premier League player, 20 league goals last season. Hmm.
I think it's a win-win for both parties, because
Yeah,
now Mbappe is going to get the money he wants,
Mm-hmm.
and Manchester United are also going to get the
A
player they
player,
want
they,
that can kind of
yeah,
take them to another
another
level.
level.
Yeah. No, now let's talk about Gyökeres. We already talked about him. I think I think there was like a rumor. I don't know, but it was like there was something about him saying that he needs to go to a club that is playing in Champions League next season, and everybody thought, oh, Arsenal should be the team going for
Yeah,
him. But I
actually.
think apparently, Benjamin Sesko is like the more enticing deal for Arsenal
Arsenal.
this time around. I think they are more interested in Sesko, and I think we've had a debate about this already. That Sesko is raw, it has higher potential, higher
Yeah,
ceiling.
all those type of
But for
things.
a team that needs to win right now, I don't think Arsenal are actually interested in going for Victor
Yeah,
Gyökeres.
correct. Yeah.
And at the same time, just have to respect it. But for me, he better deliver. He has to deliver. He has because if he does not deliver, because from day one the pressure will be there because obviously Manchester is even more expensive
Yeah.
than Victor Gyökeres, and the fan base is divided. Some are interested,
Yeah, correct.
Gyökeres. Some are interested in Benjamin
Sesko.
Sesko. Now that okay, the ones going for Sheshko probably win this now. With the way things are going, I think they're
Yeah.
going to get Sheshko. And now that he's probably going to be an Arsenal player, like the time is ticking. He has to score. Even if he doesn't score on his debut,
That's the
the
story.
next in the first
Yes.
5 games he has to because the pressure is there. But now I think Victor Gyökeres because I think the fact that he's worked with Ruben
Ruben Amorim.
Amorim is a big factor in this and
Yeah.
everything. So and since no now that I said I don't know why most big clubs are not going in for him, but now that most big clubs are not really going in for him, I think Manchester United is probably the
Yeah.
next destination. I hope that Arsenal will not look back and regret this thing because if it comes to the Premier League
And he scores a
and
whole lot.
plays the same way and performs the same way he did at
Sporting.
Sporting. I mean, they're probably like Manchester United fans are ever going to like forever going to troll Arsenal fans, and
About that.
I don't want to think about it, but I hope it works out for both parties. If Benjamin Sesko goes to the Arsenal, I hope it works out for him there.
Mm-hmm.
And if Victor Gyökeres decides to go for
The
to go
Manchester
to
United
Manchester
move.
United, I hope he works there as well. But I just pray that he does not outshine Sesko because if he does, me because personally I'm a big fan, I'm a huge fan of
Yeah.
because I saw the way he played against
Manchester
Gabriel,
City side.
Manchester City, Gabriel and Talib, and they struggled
Yeah,
again
against him.
because he's really physical as well. Honestly, it's a bit confusing, but I just have to trust, the expertise of Andrea Beta and Mikel Arteta. I hope it works. I pray it works.
Mm.
So now let's go to Inter Milan. The news update about Inter Milan is that the manager that took them to the Champions League final,
He's
Simeone
gone.
Inzaghi, has been sacked, and you just have to kind of feel bad for him because it just didn't work out, right? Because at the point in time they were actually chasing the treble
Yeah.
and they ended up
and
with
they win anything.
nothing. That's how even Liverpool too were like at the point they were like chasing the quadruple, and
And they ended with one trophy.
if not because like the league was not even competitive this season, they
Yeah.
probably would not have.
They
If it was
probably
Manchester City that was
that was
actually
pushing them,
pushing
yeah.
them, they might have not won the Premier League
Anything.
as well. So that's how football can be really
Yeah.
harsh. It can be
Can
really
lose
funny.
everything in 2 games.
Yeah, it's just like in a flash. But at the same time, I just have to So now the new manager for Inter Milan is certain Christian Chivu.
Yeah.
I hope I got that
Yeah,
right.
you did.
Chivu, and he's going to be the manager until 2027. I think just 2 years.
Yeah. I feel they went to him as let's say as a last option because I feel Fabregas
Fabregas
was
was
clearly
looking
the main
like
option. But yeah, I feel you saw his Palmer side. His Palmer side are a very interesting side to watch.
mhm.
They actually score good goals and they usually give the teams good battles. I actually remember his Palmer side against this Inter side. I think they played a
Mhm.
2-2 draw in their
Mhm.
last few games before the end of the season. So yes, and also I saw something that he was their coach in the UEFA Youth League in
Mhm.
2021. So
Mhm.
maybe they are trying to say, okay, we are bringing him in because he knows the players in the youth setup. Now, okay, he will probably help us to bring them forward. Because I feel the Inter Milan side are actually lacking in youth. If I even feel the whole of
Mm.
Italian football is actually lacking
Yeah,
in
they
youth.
look old.
Yeah, most of their
Bastoni,
team,
a lot of them.
exactly all the stuff. Even their midfield, especially Inter Milan midfield. You look at the midfield. Maybe the only young player that is started there is Varela, and you won't say he's young. You
Yeah.
probably say he's towards the latter 20s, and that is you cannot.
What's happening in Italy? What's happening to like the academy, the young ones?
Yeah,
Are they not interested in football
no,
or
no. I
they're
feel
just not good enough to play at a professional level or
yeah.
something?
I still remember having this conversation with one of my friends. I told him
Mm.
that the football philosophy in Italy is
Italy.
not allowing them to actually bring play the younger ones. I feel the coaches in Italy are not actually allowing them to play the way they want to play. Play this younger. Maybe they are
Mm.
saying they are trying to be conservative because
A system, the defensive
yeah,
part, they have
this
to
is
be
all those
defensive.
Catalan type of stuff. Oh, we are trying to do
Uh,
this, we are going to do that. No need for the. I even feel that's why I spoke to. I was telling my friend that it will take like 5 more years before we see an Italian side actually win the Champions League.
wow.
Because I feel since the 2010s, the football. I told him that football has evolved past the way Italian people actually
As
want it to be.
playing, yeah.
So that they just have to move with that. And right now they are not moving with that. But let's see, maybe Chivu does that for the Inter Milan
Maybe it's going
side.
to like rejuvenate something and just bring up
Yeah,
something and spark something that
yeah. Maybe
has
a
probably
revolution
a
in Italy.
revolution. Hopefully.
Mhm.
I hope that happens. And for me, I think this is Fabregas deal. I think this is like a big job because he just attended his managerial
Yeah, it could have been a
career.
really big
A
job.
big jump because Inter Milan is a big club and
Yeah,
there's just
pressure.
the pressure is I think the common side is still very good, just somewhere to just start and then you can go to
Yes.
another club
Mhm.
and then because that big jump is like the mistakes that all those like upcoming
I've
managers
seen it
tend
with
to
Graham
make.
Potter. We
uh
have seen it with a whole lot of
a whole
coaches.
lot, the likes of Gerard,
Yeah,
the
all those
likes
type
of
of big moves.
those big moves. I think it's a great opportunity for him to stay at Como to
Yeah.
improve his game, study more, but and play against
Yeah, I still feel he's going to
tougher
coach one of
opponents.
the bigger sides in Italy
Mm-hmm.
eventually because I feel he's very, very good.
We are here hoping that Christian Chivu will do well at Inter Milan and probably that he won't be a victim of
Big jumps.
any anything bad next season. Now let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool are moving in this transfer window. They've been really active, super active. And the one thing I really enjoy about Liverpool is that they get their business done early.
Early,
They
yeah.
always get it done early. They don't really mess around. They don't really, once they're linked to a player, in less than 2 weeks, it's done, sealed, sharp.
They don't waste time.
They don't waste time. So compared to let me not mention. Let's not go there. Let's just I think Florian Wirtz deal and I think it's almost a done deal. So Romano still teasing us all over again. And I think they rejected the first two bids. They
Mhm.
won the 150 million. And I think Liverpool for the first time in their history, they're
They've
ready to
actually been spending
spend.
that package.
But the thing is, the question now is look at the likes of Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunes. There's no news about Darwin Nunes going to a new club,
Mhm.
and I think that front the attacking side needs like replacements because only Salah and maybe Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo are
Yeah,
actually like big
doing
contributors
something.
doing something big to
Yeah.
actually improve the team or to make them better. You look at the likes of Jogo Jota, not really available. I think he's a good addition,
Yeah,
honestly,
bench
but
player.
he's not really, when it comes to his fitness and everything, not really reliable. Darwin Nunes, not even. Let me don't get me started on that one. And I think the negotiations are the final stages now
Mhm.
for Florian Wirtz. And how do you think like the FFP thing will kind of because they still have like they're still linked to Kekes of
Yeah.
Bournemouth and all these signings, Jeremy Frimpong, not that are expensive. I
Yeah.
think Kekes will be a little bit expensive because it's in the Premier League and everything
Yeah.
like that. And Florian Wirtz for 150 million.
Mhm.
That's a whole lot of money. That is a whole lot of money. And I hope it delivers because now you know how rival fans can be in the Premier
Yeah,
League.
they already start
Any
pushing.
smart, even the Germany versus Portugal game, everybody was already on his case
Yeah, they're
that
already
this
going
guy
for
is so
him.
expensive for what he's actually going to do. Blah 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 blah. So what are your own thoughts and your opinions?
Yeah, I actually feel Florian Wirtz is going to improve the Liverpool side, especially with
Mm,
Trent Alexander-Arnold going. He is very,
mm.
very
We
creative.
have
So
Jeremy Frimpong too that is also creative.
yeah, I feel Frimpong is more of a finisher because if you see most of his distance, he usually
So
ends up in
is
the
it is
18
it
yard
going to
box.
come in and start sharing the goals with Mo Salah because they actually play at the same side,
Yeah,
the right
we
side?
don't know how that's going to work out. We
Mm.
haven't seen Liverpool yet. We haven't seen them play together, Shabo. I feel and Slot he probably asked for Frimpong to come into this
Mm-hmm.
team, so he clearly has an idea of what he wants to do. But if you remember, we have seen a whole lot of talk about the price tag, this that. But if you are signing a good player, you have to pay big money. There's no idea you're telling yourself that, and especially if the club does not want to sell. Although
Mm.
while our cousin could say they want to sell, but they clearly want to invest more
More
money into the
money.
squad. So that
Mm.
has to be it. And I feel he's going to be a hit for the Liverpool side because he works. I feel he works very, very smartly.
Yeah.
He can go shift into the left wing. Saw him in the game against Portugal in
Mm.
the UEFA Nations League semi-final. He shifted to the left wing sometime. He's can also come in. He gives them the variety, which I feel they will lack in creating chances. And he
Yeah.
can also even play number 10 position instead of Szoboszlai, because I feel Szoboszlai does not have a creative bone in him
Yeah,
as of now.
yeah,
He's
honestly.
just like a presser, those type of things. So yes,
Mm,
then the Kekeres move to I feel is a very interesting one.
mm.
Him and Robertson is the same time,
Not done
although
yet. It's not even at the final stage, but the
yeah,
link is there
but
and strong.
the move is it looks like it's most likely going to
Imminent,
happen.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably going to happen.
yeah, I feel it's going to be a good one.
Mm,
I like the way Liverpool have gone, strengthening the positions that look weak. Because last time we saw Robertson, well, I feel he has fallen off for the last 2 seasons. He has been actually poor by his
true,
standards. He
true,
has
true,
just
true,
been
true.
pushing himself, and we even saw him in the game against Fulham that cost them. I think they lost that game 2-1 or they drew it 2
Yeah,
2. That he got a red card.
Robertson is no longer the
Yeah, he's
Robertson.
no longer the
He was
player.
like the best left back in the league,
Yeah,
like in
I
his,
feel he was even top five
in
left
his
backs in the
prime.
world at the period.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
way
true, true,
the way
true.
he presses, his crosses, him and Trent. Sometimes he
In the
crosses.
club area, when they
Yeah,
won the Champions League, I remember
yeah,
clearly.
the,
Very influential.
yeah. So yes, but
Mm.
for sure, that's one thing. You need to know when to let go. Maybe he's going to be a bench player
Yeah, I
now.
think it's probably going to be a rotation option
Yeah,
because they will need him to, like for the Carabao Cups, the FA Cups,
maybe they also
and
sell Simikas too.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think
sub
that
left back.
they
They
might,
clearly have to because
they
I
should.
think
Yeah,
having three left backs in the
doesn't
squad,
really make
yeah,
sense.
will not
Yeah.
actually have any impact.
Yes, I hope Noah Fast comes in for probably Robertson or because I think one of them will have to go, Robertson or
Simikas.
Tochimikas. Now let's go to Tottenham Hotspur, the current Europa League winners, and and Postecoglou, lost his job. He got sacked yesterday. Was it
Yeah,
yesterday?
yesterday.
So now Thomas Frank of Brentford is now the leading manager to like replace him. And you just have to look at, kind of feel bad for Postecoglou. Honestly, I feel like the way the season kind of played out for him.
Hmm.
Should should we say that them winning the Europa League was kind of like luck? Was it like luck, or we're just like playing like a very bad team, as like the team that was as bad as they had actually, because you look at Manchester United and Tottenham, they're like best
Yeah,
friends this season
in
on the
positions.
table. I think Man United finished 17th.
Yeah,
I
but they
think
finished
17th
16th.
or
I
15th
think
or 17th.
15th or so. I think they eventually
I think
finished 15th.
Tottenham finished
17th.
17th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just look at that.
22
Just look
losses
at,
in the league.
yeah, I think that's like the major reason. I think
Yeah.
his playing style was not really sustainable, and he was that kind of manager that could not really adapt to
Yeah,
the
he
changes.
said he's not going to change
Yeah,
anything.
just because you could say that, they were suffering from injuries and everything, but that's still not good enough. As a pro manager, you should be able to like find
Yeah.
solutions.
To
Maybe you
fine
make
tune
use
your
of, yeah, make use
tactics.
of academy players or something to make it work. It's not about your system. Your system is not working. Find something else. And he
Hmm.
was so adamant and stubborn,
Yeah.
and that probably
But
cost
that's
him
still
his
won
job.
him a title too.
Yeah, what you may title. I think for me, I'm saying this, I'm putting it. I think the only reason Tottenham Hotspur won, not because I'm an Arsenal fan. Let's get it
Hmm.
out there. The only reason they won that game was actually because of Manchester
But
United.
how did they also get to the finals? So?
Yeah, because they played Bodo Glimt. If they had
But
played a
before Bodo
certain
Glimt,
Olympic
they
Lyon,
played Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
So I feel the
We all know
combination
that
of a whole
Frankfurt,
lot of
ever since
things.
Omar Mamouche kind of left, he has
But
not been
Hugo
all that great.
Ekitike is they also there too. They also have players
They
too.
have players too. Okay, let's say okay, they beat Frankfurt. Good,
Yeah.
good, all well and good, all well and fine. But if you are telling me that if they had played against Olympic Lyon and
Bilbao.
Athletic Bilbao, do you think they would have made it to the final?
But United were also poor too. So do you think if United also went their route and played Frankfurt and Bodo Glimt, do you also think, because we saw United lose some very funny games in the Premier League. So you cannot, I feel
Yeah,
it was just they got
a
the
great
luck. Yes,
opportunity.
they
I
were
think,
just putting
yeah, I
outside.
get it. I think sometimes just need a little bit of luck, and it actually happened for them, and they took it. There's a
Yes,
difference between having luck and actually utilizing that luck. They
exactly.
had the luck, and they
And they
made
used
use.
it.
They made use of it. They utilized it effectively. So you cannot just, me as an Arsenal fan, maybe just like the house, like the eight is kind of there. For me to just, not really find something to kind of make myself feel better, because
Mhm.
Tottenham Hotspur are now
Went on to win
European
a European
European
title.
title winners, and Arsenal are still, same old story. Let's not get there. Now Manchester City are moving, and what a time to be a Manchester City fan, because the way they've been moving this season, honestly, I see them as strong contenders this next
Yeah,
season. What do you think? Because for me, you look at the way they are playing currently, or not playing, the way they are moving rather
in transfer
in the
window.
transfer window, they know the thing, they've identified where the
Yeah,
problem
issues are.
is, and they're kind of like, finding players to actually fit in. And I like the fact that they were linked to Florian Wirtz, but when they heard the price, they were like, no,
They
we're
just
backing
moved
off.
back.
They're like, nah, we're not doing that. They just backed off and they went to go sign realistic players
Yeah.
because they kind of knew that they had other issues, even defensively, to address. Now to just spend 150 and
On one
when
particular
you remember
player.
that they actually spent a lot of money in January transfer
Yeah.
window too. So that and the FFP rules, they have to
All
be
those type
very
of
smart
things.
with
Yeah.
the way they move. And Tijani Renders
Mm-hmm.
going to be a Manchester City player. I think that's done,
Itonori
done
too.
and done. And Snuri from Wolves.
Wolves, yeah. As
That
well
I'm
back.
kind of skeptical, but there's still time to kind of prove me wrong
Mm-hmm.
because I think his defensive defensive aspect of the game kind of needs to work.
Yeah.
I
You
think it
still need
needs.
improvement for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, maybe
Well,
because he's going to work on that paper. I hope it works out for
mm-hmm.
him. I think he's a very underrated player because he plays at
Wolves.
Wolves. That's like kind of makes him like a little bit
But I
under the
think he also
radar.
costs the same amount as Dogu for Manchester United side.
How much is Dogu again?
I
Can you
think I,
remind
I
me?
think was I think was around the same price tag
Price
for the
tag.
both of them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So now Manchester City, Ryan Checky
Mm-hmm.
of France. Of
Yeah.
France. The way he moved. Let's just talk about it recently now because I've not really been watching this game.
Yeah,
But the way
Nations League.
the little cameo that we saw from him at the Nations League got up semi-final rather against Spain.
Spain.
He single-handedly kind of brought that game from 4-1 to 4-3 or 4-4 safe or
Yeah.
5-4 because it was moving. It was
They
like I was
actually
like, hey, Premier League, are you ready? Next season, are you really ready? And you look at Tijani Reinders as well. Also, I think that's a done deal for them.
yeah.
That's confirmed. Checky already the personal deal,
Yeah, he already
personal
spoke about
terms.
it after the
Yeah, yeah.
Spanish
After
game.
this, yeah, this personal terms. I think now the only thing now is to sort the clubs to sort
Yeah, and just
the
signing.
paperwork and everything, and just find a mutual ground
Mm-hmm.
and then accept the deal. Now, I think the Manchester City side like this. So we're going to have Rodri, Tijani Reinders, and Ryan Checky
Yeah.
next season. Look at that three. Look at that midfield. What are you thinking when you see that midfield?
Yeah, I feel it gives a balance of because there's been a whole lot of talk that Czechia doesn't have the work rates of this
Mm.
and that.
Rodri has the work
Yes,
rates.
Rodri has the Tijan Renders also has the
Oh,
work
work
rate. So
rates.
I feel they are going to be able to platform him to
Like
play as
it's
well
looking
as he
so
was.
nice.
Yeah.
And you look at the likes of Kovacic on the bench. I don't know if Gundogan will still be
Yeah, I think
available.
Gundogan is still
It's
going
just
to
going
be
to be
there.
like
Even a certain
impact
Foden is
players.
also there too.
I think Foden will probably be playing at
Maybe
the
next
right
season we
wing.
see Savio and him share the
Yeah,
minutes
sure.
here.
Yeah, I
So
think
yes, I feel Manchester City side are
like
clearly
set.
yeah, they are investing in places that you clearly know. Oh, this were their issues this particular season. Oh, this is
And
that.
you look
I feel they were not so very
God.
creative. At a particular point in the season, Manchester City looked like they lacked ideas. Even with KDB on the field, they look like I still remember the Southampton game that they won 1-0. They created a whole lot of half chances but no clear cut chances. And I feel that's one the highlight of a Pep Guardiola side. They always create clear cut chances that even let's say Gabriel Jesus even ate in the type of system that Manchester City had. So yes, I feel that they were lacking inventiveness, they were lacking that spark in attack.
Yeah.
So yes, I feel Ryan Check is clearly going to bring that, and hopefully we see a new Foden, different than what we saw this particular season. And also in the game against the Germany, I said not Germany game, I'm trying to remember the Belgium game against I saw Jeremy Doku do something different. Maybe he's listening to the words of Thierry Henry that he should actually look up when he's dribbling and doing those type of things. Maybe
Okay.
yeah, but I feel the Manchester City side are going to be really, really interesting next season.
Season, I mean, I have a position to start all over again.
Yeah,
because
because we're going to see them in the Club World Cup too. So
yeah, Club World Cup does not really show because I don't think they might want to like expose everything because that's just going to give us glimpses.
yeah,
Like just
maybe
next season is when I'm going to see the real Manchester City, and I'm ready for it. Ready. Because honestly, I think that like there will be some like surprises next season, like from teams I wasn't expect. Manchester United, that people are writing them off, but the way they are moving too, honestly, they're like kind of fixing their issues. I think they like need to address the defensive problem as well. But I think they still have
I think
they have
they need a
Martinez.
midfielder that can handle the ball.
I think Luke Shaw. Yeah, they have Bruno Fernandes. It's
Yeah,
good on the
but
ball.
a center midfielder that will actually help too. I feel Ugarte is another type of midfielder. He thinks the ball is a bomb or something. He's
Is
always
Casemiro still going to be at Manchester United next
because
season?
yeah, I feel so, but I still think he's sort of similar to Ugarte too. So
Okay, okay. Strong opinion there.
yeah,
Strong one. Now let's go to Chelsea Football Club, the Blue Boys. Now let's talk about their move to transfer window, and they are also linked to a Jamie
Gittins.
Gittins from Borussia Dortmund. The guy had 12 goals and 5 assists in 48 games last season,
Hmm.
and the price tag is 40 points, no, 50.4 million. Is it euros or pounds? I think so. 50.4 million. I'm not sure if it's euros or
Yeah,
pounds. And Arteta are trying to get him in time for the Club World Cup. So it's like one deal that's probably going to happen. But at the same time, Borussia Dortmund are also, according to reports, are also very like eager to sell him because they had a very like um shaky end to the season. Like the second
yeah.
part of the season was kind of dry. I think
Mhm.
most of these goals and assists came in the
Yeah, the
first
earlier
part.
part of the
Yeah,
season.
first part of the season. So I think with Sancho going back, obviously they need a left winger
Yes.
to replace that. And
Mudrik is not also there again.
Mudrik
He
is
looks
still
like he's most likely not going to be
he's
playing
probably
football for
for
a
a
long
long
time.
while, long time. I think he's still under that
Palmer now also
investigation.
collected his number.
Yeah, so that's like that's
Yeah,
true. Like, yeah, I think Modric was one with the number 10.
then
After, oh God, I feel really bad for that guy. What could have been? Maybe if he had gone to Arsenal, maybe it could have been like a different story
yeah,
entirely. But only God knows.
yeah,
Only God knows. And I think maybe I think the way Chelsea actually move, I think the rumors are true, but only I think
yeah.
let's
Maybe something is
just
actually
speculation. Let's
wrong.
just, yeah, maybe something's
And
actually
just
wrong. We'll
yeah,
just wait for them to come and announce officially, and then we'll now talk about it. And now I think that's all about the transfer rumors that happened this past week. So now let's talk about the nations UEFA Nations League,
yeah.
UEFA Nations League, and the big final that will be going down tomorrow. So I don't know, maybe by the time you see this video, the final probably will be done and dusted.
Mhm.
But let's just give our own thoughts about how the guys are probably going to play tomorrow and how well they are going to do. Because for me, I'm actually not really interested in the Lamine Yamal. I get the hype. It's really what the hype.
Yeah,
He's a great player. But for me, I'm actually interested to see in like the likes of Vitinha and Pedri, the midfield battle. I think there are a lot of technical footballers right now in both teams,
mhm.
and it's actually going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But at the end of the day, you just have to give kudos to both teams. Portugal knocked out
Germany,
Germany, and Spain knocked out France.
France.
And just have to feel for France as well. I don't know, maybe they kind of slept, or maybe the manager kind of started the wrong lineup
Yeah, I feel it's
because
a mixture of
yeah.
a whole
And
lot of
do you,
things.
do you think the French manager should be kind of like replaced or something? Because I feel like is it Deschamps or
Yeah,
something?
the edition. I feel
Deschamps,
no. I
yeah.
feel there's no need to replace him. Going to back World Cup finals, winning one, losing one
Ask
to a
ask
Lionel Messi
ask
side.
ask Simeone Inzaghi about that
no,
without getting to the final
no,
and not winning
but
anything.
he won one.
Yeah, I won
Then he
one.
lost one to a Lionel Messi side that things could have easily changed. Although you could say they were outplayed
They were not really,
80.
for me. I think they were outplayed, but like I
Yeah,
think
in
the
that final.
players too did not
Yeah,
really
did
do
not
well.
actually get up to perform in that
Yeah.
game. So yes, plus also I think they got to the Euros quarterfinal last year.
Mm,
He clearly has a pattern. He clearly
mm,
knows what he wants to do. But I
mm.
feel the players that he, especially in midfield that they are giving, he's not able to do a whole lot with them because I feel if a certain N'Golo Kante was in the French setup, because even the last World Cup, 2022 World Cup, we saw where they got to with
Mm-hmm.
the sort of really say reduced midfield. I feel they also missed players in the Nations League, but it happens to every team. Every team does miss players.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for the match now?
Yeah, I think Spain will win 4-2.
4-2. Well, my prediction for the match will be a 3-2 victory to Spain because you just can't deny the talent they've got and everything. I don't think they have like better attacking power
Yeah.
compared to. And I think
Portugal.
for me, yeah, Portugal, I think Pedro Neto still has like this selfish thing about his game. I don't really
Yeah.
get it. I don't really get what is going
Because I
on.
even feel the wing is playing.
Yeah,
It's funny. It's
yeah,
comical.
yes. I think 3-2 to
Yeah.
Spain, but I personally like Portugal to win. So, but only time will tell. Now let's talk about our very own Super Eagles of Nigeria. So they played the international friendly between between themselves
Russia.
and Russia. And that was played in Russia, of course, because Russians, you cannot come to
Cannot
Nigeria.
even go
They
anywhere.
cannot go anywhere. They are banned, like in a lot of places. So um, there was like a 1-1 draw, yeah, 1-1
Yeah.
draw, and like they scored first, Shasha scored first, and Super Eagles of Nigeria has to equalize
Correct.
with the help of Olokbaroko that he coming on
Mhm.
from the bench, and he played a big part. in that. And probably the talking point would be Victor Boniface, Tolo Kwarokodare, and sorry, Desas, who should be the backup to Victor
Victor
Osimhen, because we
Osimhen.
know Victor Osimhen is number 9. So who do you
Yes.
think should be the second in command?
Yeah, I feel Shirley should be the second in command to Victor Osimhen because I feel he's older, and I feel he needs
Mm,
to fulfill playing for the Nigerian national side. While we still have a younger Tolu I
Kwarokodare.
think he's 23 years old.
Yeah,
So yes, he still has a whole lot of years ahead of him. So let's give Siri Desas this
the
short period of
chance.
time,
Yeah,
yes, to actually play some particular football. Because I feel Siri Desas has shown over the past few years that he's going to clearly give you goals. In all the friendlies he has played for Nigeria, almost everyone he has scored. I think 4 in 5. So that is a very good goal scoring rate. Although you could say it's a small sample size and everything, but that's a good one for him. So yes, I feel he actually does deserve to come off the bench if Nigeria are trying to look for invention, especially in number 9. It's okay, we don't want to play to Seamen or want to partner him with someone, or we just want to switch up things. Or Seaman is injured because we have seen before he was also injured for him.
yeah.
Maybe you don't know. You don't know. Maybe what happened if you need just also happened with Eric Chell. Because I'm saying they can just have a
I don't know. I
fight.
don't think so. I don't think so.
Hey, we can. Did
Yes,
you?
that now on a Stephen discussion. So cause
But
I'm
we
Stephen
cannot
discussion.
say, Sha. We cannot say. We cannot always
You
say.
cannot always say, but I actually agree with you. I think Tolo Kwarokodare is quite similar to Victor Osimhen. So to give like a different dynamic to what we
Yeah.
already have, I think this is the time for Eric Chell to kind of rely on. Then she just has experience. He's 30 years old,
Yeah.
probably in his prime. Should we say
Yeah,
late
I
bloomer?
think it's actually in his
Yeah,
prime.
let's blue band, everything like that. And it's been in and around the national team for
Sort of.
like 5 years now. So this is like a big opportunity. It's done well, it done well because the little cameo we saw when he played the Unity Cup competition, he did well.
Mhm.
And so I think it would be nice to see. And Victor Boniface hanging his boots. I think it's
Uh,
just the occasion cruise and everything. You said you have like a personal thing going
yeah,
on. I get it,
I
but
personally feel.
mm,
I just think I don't know. Maybe people are saying too. There's a word I'm trying to remember the word they say. They
you
say
said
yes. They say like I'm too. Let's say
too
caught up.
strict,
Yes, it's sort of
too
that.
strict.
Oh, I want robotic players. Uh,
Robotic.
but I think everyone likes the Amal post on Instagram. He usually makes before big games in quote and all those type of. I would say I don't know how to put it,
Yeah, I
but
think you just like the stats too. That I don't
yeah,
really
but
follow him.
yes, like
13, one
his
goal in 13
performance,
games
yes,
is
his
nothing to
performance.
write
So
home about.
I feel he doesn't have the mouth to talk about those type of things with the performances he puts up.
Well, I think only them, just like you said, Shrilesas and Tola Pararo could die
Should
above
be
Victor
ahead of him.
Boniface. I
Yeah,
think Boniface has shown that I don't think he's
he should
consistent
even
enough.
retire yourself if he wants to.
If he wants
If he
to.
wants to, he
Well,
should
Kukuma say
retire.
don't talk, I say one angle. So if he
Exactly.
wants
So
to hang
if
the
he wants
boots,
to, he should actually do.
from me, saying Boniface should go on to hang his boot if he wants to. Now, then finally, we're going to talk about Norway beating
Hmm.
Italy, and the fact that they beat them convincingly, 3
Yeah.
nil victory to the Norwegian side. And it's actually a great thing because it looks like they're going to be making it to the World Cup.
Hmm.
And just like I said, it's been a while since they've gone to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Then in the 90s, 1990 what?
1998.
1998. Hmm. Let me not ask you that question. Okay, let me not ask that question. Let's just move on. That okay. So Norway beat Italy 3-0 the World Cup qualification game. So I think it's actually interesting to see because now we're going to see Haaland compete at the highest level. Hopefully they make it to the World
Yeah,
Cup.
they should.
It'll be
Actually,
nice
they
to
should
see.
be there.
And then next time they make it to the Euros as well. I think they're trying to like get enough quality in the
Yeah.
team to kind of make them compete now. So it's nice to see that happen, and you just have to like they'll feel bad for Italy. I think their youth
Well,
football,
I
the
say feel
academy.
bad. They have
Yeah.
brought this upon themselves.
How?
I feel they've clearly not decided to evolve with the way other people are
We're
evolving. So
evolving, yeah. They're still like stuck in the past.
yeah, all those
Playing the
we play with
defensive.
our three at
Uh,
the back. We play five midfielders
true,
and two
true.
attackers. Then wing backs creating with. Personally, if you're looking at any team, if you're looking at any good team, you need to have wingers.
Fingers.
So
And they don't.
yes, they do
They
not.
don't.
If you even look at their academies, maybe you say Noto in Leeds right now. He's
Mm-hmm.
the only winger, and maybe Ossolini for Bologna. Those are the only two wingers you look at and say, okay, maybe yes, they could actually do something.
Mm.
But in the other thing, but the funny thing is that Italy usually win the under 20s competition. I think Camarada for AC Milan was the last MVP from the I think under 20 or maybe under 17. I can
Mm.
remember. So they you clearly know their talent. It's just
Mm.
moving them like the Nigerian issue always have moving them up. to the teams. They have not just done that moving up well. So they're paying for it. I think they're not going to be at the next World Cup. I feel the next years they are also not going to be there if they don't improve on that.
All right. I get your point. So that's the end of the update for this week, and you'll be seeing us next week as well to give you all the latest updates and the biggest football news
Yeah.
across the transfer window. Obviously, transfer window. This is as it's
Yes, it's
always
open.
got open.
Next week should be even the start of the Club World Cup.
Yeah, the club World Cup as
Next
well.
week,
And that's going to keep
Sunday
us.
midnight.
That's going to keep us entertained.
Yeah.
Of course, because it's going to be a long while without football. And see you guys next time. Follow me. Apple video for us.
Yeah, see you guys next time. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
Yeah.
And we'll be here next week to give you all the juicy stories from the footballing world.
Yeah, and please make sure you turn your notification bell so that when we release a new video, you get to see it almost immediately. So please take care. Bye. Bye.